Most of central Indiana is under a winter storm watch right now, and that will likely become a warning in the next several hours. Welcome inside the comfy confines of the Channel 13 studios. It is Monday, 10 o'clock. Great to have you here on Facebook Live. Let us know where you are watching. I want to know a couple of things tonight. Have you begun making some runs to the grocery to pick up milk, bread, eggs, anything else? Preparing yourself for the winter storm coming in later? And are you beginning to make any other plans in terms of child care plans later in the week or anything else? Is this impacting your travel? Any other plans? Let us know as we begin our time together here. Let us know where you're watching tonight. And if you've got a question for Sean specifically about what he knows basically tonight, go ahead and put that in the comments section. We'll read those to him. Let's go ahead and begin our evening with Sean Ash. Still celebrating the Bengals victory on the way to the Super Bowl first time. We'll get to that coming up in a moment, but everybody wants to know what's the deal on this big winter storm.
Yeah, I mean, and please go out to those grocery stores. We need that commission check, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I've been looking over data here, and I tell you, Scott, everything is lining up for a real doozy of a storm here. So the only question mark, I think, around I-70 in Indianapolis is whether or not we are going to have a period of sleet. If you have sleet, it cuts down on snow totals, but I mean, we're splitting hairs with that because it's like pick your poison. If we don't have sleet, we're staring down at least 10 inches in the city, and I'm telling you, areas north of 74, it's almost probabilities of over 10 inches are very high.
Wow.
So it's not going to be pleasant travel. So let's start, and I'll do my best to kind of walk you through all this as we go through the next couple of days here. So we've got over 1,600 miles of winter storm watches and warnings. This watch box becomes a warning for all of central Indiana, and that will probably be so by the time you wake up tomorrow morning with Chuck Lofton here. So let's talk timing, okay? So tomorrow, believe it or not, we are going to be well into the 50s. It's possible Indianapolis could have a high of 55, and I wouldn't be shocked if some areas across southern Indiana will be near 60 degrees. Rain will start to increase, and watch the clock there on Future Track 13. So here comes the front. Tomorrow night, Indianapolis, no problems. We're still talking about rain. You can start to see that transition. This is at midnight tomorrow night. So Lafayette gets it first, over into Fowler and Attica, all right? And then this will be the first piece of energy. So as we get into Wednesday morning, we'll have to wait and see exactly where that mix line is. I was thinking it's maybe north of Indianapolis. Areas south, it's going to be nothing but cold rain there. But we'll have to wait and see. Does the cold air get in quick on Wednesday morning? And if that's the case, we may have some travel problems around the metro area. I fully believe that Lafayette, that Kokomo, Peru, toward Delphi, Monticello, your Wednesday morning is going to be rough, and your Wednesday is going to be rough. That is the first chunk. So this is the winter impacts for Wednesday. They really get rough there across the northern third of the state. So now we're getting into Wednesday evening. So that first chunk of moisture moves through, and then we're going to see the next one come in. For the metro area, that will be the one with the most teeth. Thursday, statewide, is going to be just rough, okay? Not only are we going to have heavy snow and heavy sleet, and there's going to be freezing rain, especially across southern Indiana, and then we're going to throw in wind. We may have wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour. So that's going to produce near whiteout conditions at times. And though the precipitation will shut down by about 8 o'clock Thursday evening, the temperatures will go down into the single digits Friday morning, and that is going to keep this stuff hanging around here. So this is the latest map I put together. Now, I will tell you, the probabilities of over 10 inches of snow once you get close to Noblesville and Crawfordsville are very high, and that's where we have the highest confidence. The highest uncertainty is in that lighter blue shade along I-70. So I've got a 5 to 10 inch spread there because, again, if we have several hours of sleet, which is a possibility, that would cut down on snow. Does that mean it's going to make travel any better? No, not at all. And we'll fine-tune this map, so stay with us, but it is going to be a really bad storm here. And these are the winter impacts. And so if you watch us when we talk about severe thunderstorms, we talk about the levels, Scott. So this talks about the impacts. And notice Lafayette, Kokomo, Marion, Fort Wayne, Peru, extreme impacts to travel. And that will be over the next 72 hours, but it's primarily going to be starting Wednesday morning up there, and it's going to last. So I would say take my advice and do what I did. My wife's flying out of town, so I had to have my mom come up to help out with the kids here. And she's packing a big bag because she's probably going to be with us several days. One thing that worries me about the roads is that, normally you might be able to throw down some treatment before the first flakes start. We're going to have rain on the front side of this. So I think that's going to really impact them getting any pre-treatment down because it almost might be pointless. And then we're going to see this transition. We're going to put a little layer of sleet on this and then heavy snow. And then you're going to get temperatures Friday morning, single digits. And then Saturday morning, likely most of the area is going to be sub-zero.
Wow.
So this, again, once the precip ends, this thing's going to, I think traveling is still going to be pretty rough getting into the weekend here.
Yeah.
So
let's get people ready for childcare. So the days that they ought to be looking at potentially having some childcare available because perhaps their kids aren't going to be in school with delays, closings, whatever.
Yeah.
Are we looking at Thursday, Friday as being?
So half of the area Wednesday. So north, we'll have to wait and see on Indianapolis. I suspect it's probably going to be a little more northwest, but you're going to have to think about Wednesday there. All of us Thursday and all of us Friday. Okay. I can't get, I don't do the school cancel. I'm not saying.
Understand.
It just seems high. I've already told my kids, you're probably not going to school Thursday, and you're probably not going to school Friday. Yeah, this thing has some big time teeth to it here.
Yeah, okay.
Could it change a little bit? It could, but the data that we've been looking at has been fairly consistent and fairly robust too. So what could change it is, do we get it, in terms of amounts, is the sleet and freezing rain. Where is that going to set up? And with that said, power outage is a possibility, not only from potential ice accumulation, but from wind, from the wind that's going to be cranking up here too.
I think it's really important that our viewers make sure that they've got supplies in their cars, extra clothes, blankets, water.
Yeah, if you have to travel, those are great ideas. Make sure you have that, some sand as well. But traveling on Thursday across our state is going to be
rough,
dangerous, if not impossible.
Okay. So. Well, we've got a lot of people joining us tonight, 1,500 viewers tonight, so obviously lots of interest in what's happening. Let's see, Mike is joining us, Teresa, hoping for snow, not sleet. I think that's how a lot of people are feeling tonight. Missy joins us tonight. Claire is with us. She's wondering about what about people who work on Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, I think getting to, work Thursday night is still going to be tough.
Problematic, isn't it?
Still going to be problematic here. I mean, basically, if you have sleet, I will say this: I'll take sleet over freezing rain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just going to be an absolute crunchy mess here.
Yeah.
Just because of how things transition.
Yeah.
Road crews, they're just going to have their work cut out for them.
And we've seen this with big storms. You and I were talking before we got going here on Facebook about the last time we saw, say, 10 inches of snow. It takes a long time for those crews to get into the neighborhoods and get those side streets plowed. So it may take a couple of days. And with the temperatures, as you say, that's the problem.
That's it. So, if we were hovering around 32 degrees, and the salt works, but no, it's because after this thing finishes up with the last flakes, we are going to be, getting into the low, single digits.
Right.
And well, good luck.
Snow's melting.
It's just not going to go. It's not like this thing's going to go away quickly at all. So yeah, you got to start thinking. Well, we'll have to kind of wait that out for the weekend too.
Right. Okay, Sean, we're going to get back to you and talk a little bit more weather in a moment, but we do want to bring in a friend of the show, Lauren Kostiuk, tonight. Given our time restraints, Lauren, we won't have a chance to talk and spend a lot of time with your dogs, but I'm very interested in learning about this story that you're doing tonight based on whether or not COVID testing sites may be open during the brunt of this winter storm that's heading toward Indiana. What have you learned?
Yeah, Scott, exactly. So vaccine and testing sites, many of them are either limiting appointments or completely closing ahead of this storm. For example, Boone County announced today on their Facebook page that they're shutting down Wednesday and Thursday for right now. And that could all change depending on how bad it gets. And I also spoke with Hamilton County. They are limiting appointments on Thursday, so they have shut off registration for that day. And they said that it might also extend into Wednesday, where they're just going to shut down like Boone County is. So the best advice I was given was keep an eye out for updates. It's going to constantly be changing, just like the weather. And if you have an appointment scheduled, you can, cancel it or reschedule. And on that note, I was told that it is a lot easier to make appointments right now because testing and vaccine demand has gone down. So if you miss your time slot later this week, it won't be hard to get another appointment, Scott.
Right. And one of the positive signs that we've seen, not only in terms of the number of people wanting to go in to find testing, I was looking at the data from the State Department of Health. The number of Hoosiers hospitalized, that number is coming down. The number of positive tests coming down. So that potentially is a good thing. Now look, the numbers on Monday can sometimes be a little bit lower than normal. We'll have to wait and see how things pan out the rest of the week, but that was at least encouraging to me, seeing a couple of those numbers come down, Lauren.
Yeah, exactly. It sure is.
Yeah. All right, we're going to have more with Lauren coming up tonight on 13 News at 11. Give my best to Milo and Murphy, okay?
There you go. Okay.
Oh, there they
We'll
are.
give you a little preview.
All right, there's Milo ready to go. Milo, we're going to have to talk tomorrow, my friend. And there's Murphy, closest to Lauren. Good to see both those dogs there tonight. Thanks, my friend.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's get back to Sean. Sean, let's go ahead and turn our attention to the Super Bowl. You got to be the happiest person here at Channel 13 because you've been a Bengals fan a long time. You've waited so long, have suffered through a lot of bad seasons of football.
The curse of Bo Jackson.
The curse of Bo Jackson, which is over at this point, based on what has happened Sunday. What is that like for you and other Bengals fans?
It's still kind of surreal,
Let's play the
my
video
friend.
of you watching the game and the Bengals clinching.
It's still kind of surreal, And I tell you what, I will not call them the Bungles anymore.
Good for you.
That was the running joke here. I remember when they went to their stripes.
Right.
The very first year, I think it was like 1980. And I've got this jersey from Christmas 1987. James Brooks was my favorite player. So it was really cool. And, just cool to kind of share it with the kids because my mom sent me a text and she's like, it brings back memories of when we watched, because we watched the other two Super Bowls together with my mom and dad. And I can see that memory. It's just right there, So I hope my kids, as they get older, remember me acting crazy.
Well, if we have that video, I'd love our director to go ahead and play that so our viewers can see that reaction.
We're going to the Super Bowl!
Poor Sloan.
Your kids have become Bengals fans too?
Well, yeah, they kind of support Dad's teams. Sloan and Sophia were upset that, the last game I had Leighton tossing him around. So I was like, hey, get over here. We're about to kick this field goal. I hope it goes in.
Well, it's going to be an interesting Super Bowl, Cincinnati and the LA Rams. Rams are going to have that home field advantage.
But they're not playing Joe Montana. There's no Bill Walsh.
No Jerry Rice.
No Jerry Rice. So
that's the last time the Bengals were in the Super Bowl. Well, that's great. All right, so a couple of other people, Teresa, Glenn, talking about that. By the way, the Super Bowl's over on Channel 13, so we get it this year.
Oh, yeah.
So, Teresa says, love the video. And let's see some of the other people watching tonight. Vicky, Pete is here with us tonight. Joy says, go Bengals. Ashley, her husband, was happy about the Bengals too.
Yes.
Sarah's with us tonight. Zach's back with us. Pete is with us. So anyway, Pete says, hey, let's get back to more relevant stuff like the weather. Hey, Pete, we spent 10 of the 15 minutes talking about
I think they
weather.
were tired. A lot of people are tired of me talking about it, you know.
Let's spend like maybe the last minute before we have to close things out and get ready for the news, talking about, in case they've missed it, what's to come here.
Yeah, so again, tomorrow, A-OK. We're going to be in the 50s tomorrow. It comes in two pieces here. So tomorrow night, early Wednesday, northwest. And then the brunt of what most of the metro area is going to get is going to come in Wednesday night and especially Thursday. Thursday is just going to be a very rough weather day. And we'll have the, if you didn't see the snow map, we'll have it again coming up at 11 o'clock. But all the data is pointing toward a very high impact storm here.
Wow. And Indy is, you say, about 10, 11, 12 inches below normal in terms of snowfall this year?
Over 16.
16 inches.
Over 16 inches for the season.
So we may climb a little bit higher.
I think we're going to put a pretty big dent in that, and there might be some parts of our viewing area to the north that may actually get close to 16 inches.
Wow.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to be with you every step of the way during that storm throughout the week. Be sure to keep it over on Channel 13. Make sure you've got our weather app on your phone. We want to keep you weather aware, keep you safe. We'll have all the school closings, delays at the bottom of your screen on Channel 13. And of course, you can go to any of our digital platforms, get all that information. Sean and I are back with you tonight on 13 News at 11. For now, thanks so much for joining Sean and Swan. We'll see you tonight at 11. Good night.